Okay, so we are going to start. Hello everyone, my name is Milton Mamani. I am from Bolivia and I work in Santiago, Chile right now. And I have been working with Professor Alexander Vergel for 5 years ago. And we have created a library to visualize our data called Roassal. So since 2011, we have created several iterations of Roassal depending on the necessity of our customers, of ourselves. And now we have a new version called Roassal3, and we talk about with the people from Faro, and we expect to release this version in the next iteration, in the next new version of Faro. So I want to show you what are we doing with this new library. So first, this is a visualization that we have created with Roassal, with Perlin nodes. But I want to show you how we can create a new visual stuff. So this project, you can load it from GitHub. So you can look for this in the web page, call it Roassal3, and you are going to have a new link to GitHub. So I'm going to test it. First, I'm going to create a canvas. The canvas is the container where you can put shapes. And then you can inspect it. So now the canvas is empty. So I'm going to try to render some objects in this example classes. The collection with all subclasses. And now I'm going to create some shapes from these objects. With a default size. And then I'm going to add it to the canvas. So all the new shapes are in the same point, so I need Talayut. Okay, but I cannot interact with this, so I'm going to add an interaction. In this case, an interaction for the canvas. So now I can move the canvas, I can zoom in. I also have these scroll bars. And now I need interaction also for these dots. I can move now the dots, but the pop-up is show nil because this node does not have the model. So I'm going to add the model. Now I have the correct name for each class. But now I want that these elements can represent some information of this class. So I'm going to use in this example a normalizer. So for the smallest element, is going to the size for each dot is going to be 10, and for the biggest element is going to be 100. And the metric is going to be number of methods. I can do the same for the color. But well, in this two parameters, I need a color. So for the smallest one, is going to be green. And for the biggest, red. And now I can add some edges. I'm going to use the edge builder with a simple basic line. And I'm going to connect from the superclass. So now I have the pop-up, and I can move, and the edges are updated. But the grid layout is not useful this time. So I'm going to change the layout to a tree layout. So now I have the better idea what is this hierarchy. But I think that this line does not fit. So I'm going to change a little bit the line with the attach point, because each line is a direct line to the center of the element, but I don't know what that. So I'm going to use a vertical attach point, and also I'm going to change the line to an orthogonal line. So yeah, I don't know how time take, but I have created, I think in less than 10 minutes, a nice visualization of the classes that I wanted. So I can do the same iteration in order to have more complex visualization of different kind of models. In this example is for classes, but you can have objects that then you need to customize the visualization, and also have some animations like this. So because this is an animation also when or the zoom. You see the move? Also, maybe I want a little arrow here, so I can put that for the last. So I'm going to put a simple arrow. In this case, for Roassal, an arrow is a kind of polygon. So for this arrow, I'm going to change the size. It's going to be 5 pixels, and well, also I have an interaction when I click one of these nodes. I can see the inspector of this model in the left tab. So yeah, this is the way that we can create a nice visualization with Roassal. So now I can show you some examples that we have working. For example, we have some work with the interaction, as you see, with the ellipses. Also, we can create some kind of borders. Or for the boxes also. Also, we have to experiment a lot with different kind of edges, because this connection between these two elements are edges, so we can have a crazy edge like this. And also, we play a lot with animations. Try to create a new way to create animations. And all the example is here. So this script is quite large, but it's the kind of elements of shapes that you can put in the canvas and try to decorate a little bit. Also, we have to work with a lot of paints, like in this case with gradients, in order to have this kind of shape. And also with attach points, right? In this case, I have a layout here, and what's the name? For space layout. You see, we can change the attach point for each shape. Also, as you can see, we have worked with the library colored geometry, so calculates the closest point. You see, the closest point to the other shape, in order to have a nice visual effect. Also, since we are working a little bit with animations, we started to count the frames per second that we produce. Right now it's like 30 frames per second. We think that is acceptable. Or we have worked a little bit with the shadows and transforming the shapes. And also we have working with the transformations of each shape. So this is really close to what we have in SVG in HTML. Well, again, we have worked really a lot with animation and different kinds of transformation in different shapes. Also with the text, this is a text. I just have loaded a new font, a new crazy font that I downloaded from the internet, and then I put the name Faro because I use that today. And also we have worked with composition because these kind of shapes are composite shapes, so you can actually move as one part of the composite shape. So if you have any questions from this part, I think that you can raise your hand. And yeah, this is kind of psychedelic. Yeah. Also, we have a lot with the polygons. This is a kind of polygon. Maybe we have a lot of points that it looks like a polygon, but it's actually it's a polygon. So I'm going to so you see, it's a polygon. Also, we have worked with the text in the border text. So as you can see, we have, for example, this kind of animation, it text in the border. Just to have a nice visual effect of front text. Also, from SVG, we took this idea of having markers. So in polylines and lines and beziers, you can put these markers, like arrows, like dots between the lines. That help us a lot because these are kind of decorations for these lines. We have implemented that on bezier lines, so as you can see, each bezier has its own marker with different color. And we move the start point of each bezier, so you can have a nice really effect that there is circles moving around, but no, there is just beziers here, no circles. And also we have played a lot with Berlin. It's a kind of noise. It's a noise for to have different kind of textures in 3D. So we apply it a little bit, this kind of noises to have nice examples. And again, just to test it, because we want to test the source code and want to, see what we can do with Roassal to have different kind of views and test the algorithms. Also, we have worked a lot with SVG, so we have currently a nice support with SVG. So this is a SVG shape, and we put some animation in order to, that looks like the sky. So you can click these kind of shapes and transform the position, transform the scale, put in a composite shapes, and then change the shape. And you can click it and move. Also, we have a lot of work with layouts. I know that there is currently a new project about layouts in in Faro. We need to look at that project because in Smalltalk, in Faro, we need a common library in order to have layouts for the visual objects. So this is the first layout. As you can see, the visual this layout only refresh when I move an element. After that, the layout stop. We can have that layout because we are using a structure, a quad tree, that divides the area of each in 4. So you can see the rectangles in this visualization. So the big rectangle then is subdivided in new 4 in order to contain all the shapes. So if I change the position, you can see how the quad tree change. Well, again, we have a lot of layouts that we tested to see. Also, we have changed a little bit some of the layouts, like this one, that these have walls, as you can see. So this, and this is a nice effect. Also, we have worked a lot with pies. So we have a nice library for pies. I don't know if other Smalltalks have pies. We have corner radius for pies and different types of to open a pie. Well, this is a pie, but also is a pyramid. Also for reports, because sometimes I need to do a report. Yeah, we play a lot with. We love to create these kind of things. So we have created this pie to have information about our packages. As you can see, this examples is the bigger one. This means that the source code is of these examples are high. And this is another example for the United States population. It's divided by colors, and in each one you can see, for example, California have 36 million people. If you can compare that population from other cities, you can have a big picture of what is happening here. Also, we have worked a lot with UML. So we want to integrate these kind of tools to the Faro system. You can see we have a corner radius, for example, for some lines. And also we have played a lot with a new visualization called Torch, that instead of show the methods, show rectangles. We need to work a little bit with that, but the idea is to see this kind of visualization in Iceberg, for example, to see what is the change of one commit. And yeah, that is the demos. The future for Roassal3 is iterative. So we are actually working with the people in France, try to have a nice version that the community can use, and at this moment we are working on that. So yeah, that is the talk, I think. So thank you very much. Questions?
I want all these nice examples. I think some are you created them, some others you took from some.
Yeah, for example, a lot of them are for D3 from Paper.js, and I know that there examples are MIT, and a lot of them are creations between the team.
Okay, but the ones that are already or you took from other systems are good for establishing a comparison between Roassal and the other systems, right?
Yeah.
How do you find the one when you compare with the other? Roassal is better, is in what regards, is something you are trying to achieve, you haven't yet, etc.
Yeah, the first idea was to have that kind of examples in Smalltalk in Faro, because if this kind of language like JavaScript have these examples, we can have it in the system. So that was the first goal, to have these examples. Then we wanted to have this at the same speed, but that is something that we need to talk about with the VM systems, I think, because we are not in the same speed at this moment in order to have, the same frame rate. But for me, try to coding was quite nice in the Roassal system, because the object thing. Yeah.
I have one question. Will you support block in the future?
Can you repeat?
You will support block in the future?
Block from Tudor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but all the ecosystem of Roassal2 is prepared in order to have another kind of render. So right now we are depending on Cairo, the library of Athens. So then in the future, maybe we can create a new subclass of the renderer, because we are using a class that renders all of these kind of things in Athens, in Cairo. So if Pharo took the version of block, we are going to move to block, because we are target to that. We are create this kind of structure to that. Okay, so thank you.